Sales. I mean, I know a lot of people don't actually like that career, but it's one of the best careers you can ever really have, because you could shoot up easily when you're so sound in that work. Kujo, Mienza, how you doing? Ajoa. Ernestina Adubia Amponsah. Let me do a little bit of introduction about this lady. She's the acting head, agency training, Prudential Life, right? And I also realized that you actually also have a sales and soft skill bit of, but I've heard so much about you. And, I remember when, I actually told Kujo that I would want us to interview you, because we all come from that background. So I was very, very much, happy to finally get the opportunity to interview, because I know your story. But let's just jump straight to it. Kujo?
Yeah.
I mean, hey.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Kujo. It's an honor.
So before we get into your career and sales, marketing, all of that, tell us a little bit about your background. Tell us about, how it was for you growing up. Who were you in high school? Were you the popular girl? Were you the shy person? Studious, athletic, whatever it is. So tell us about your formative years.
Okay, so I grew up having female influence from about 9 years. It's always been my mom. I've had my uncles around, and I've had my dad and my dad's family around, but it's dominantly my mom. Okay. I grew up in Tema, Community 8, to be precise. My dad was keen on education, taking good care of his kids. Your school fees would be paid way before school reopened. Your stationery, everything. And he was a disciplinarian, actually. He would want you to eat from home, like eat all the healthy meals, have the protein, then give you money for snacks and all that. So my uncles were rather supplements, and my grandma has been like influential in my growing up. She's everything to me. I could rather speak so highly of my grandma first, even before my mom comes, because we shared so many beautiful memories. She's late, unfortunately. Secondary school, I actually have an interesting secondary school experience. I remember I've always wanted to be in Wesley Girls, and I have friends who were in St. Augustine's and Fancy Pim, especially the Augustine guys. They were like, oh, gay girls are too known, and these girls, you don't need to go there. Holy Child girls are all okay, and they are cool, and I chose Holy Child.
Wait, before you go to because I'm a mover myself. Why would you do that?
Well, it looked like the Augustine guys really won. Like, they were on me. They made me feel like being in gay was some sort of a crime, because it would change me completely to something else. And so I decided to choose Holy Child. But my cousin, who is now a doctor, actually a lady, she went to Roses, and my mom is like, okay, Roses is very disciplined. Why don't you choose that your cousin was there and all? And I'm like, oh no, I won't. And right from childhood, I'm straightforward. I always knew what I wanted.
Oh, wow.
And then my mom says Roses. I said no, but I'm someone who thinks. I'm a thinker. So I go to sleep, I come back, I said, okay, I would want to do the Roses. And then when I was choosing the secondary school, my head teacher then chose Holy Child. And I think there's a master list and there's another list sort of. So my mom came back later to change it, but it was the assistant head that did the registration for us. So when my mom was coming to change the school, it was the head himself that was there. But when he was changing, he should have changed another slip called the master list or something. So my results are in, and my mom was expecting an extremely good result. It wasn't bad. My results were still good. And we can't find my placement. I've got an interesting story. I think that was a turning point in leaning on God, sort of, because my grandma told me that we can have all the money, but there are some things that God can really do it better. So then my uncle, it was a family friend uncle, he sees my results like, oh, these are great results. You should do science, right? And I'll let you go to Wesley Girls. I've got a friend over there. So the man sees it. He takes it to the man, actually. Proud to this. Remember, we've gone to Cape Coast. My family has gone to Cape Coast, gone to Eastern Region, trying to figure out like first school, second choice, third choice. Like, my name is not there. How come? Your grades are good. At least, even if your first choice doesn't pick you, your second or third. So how come?
It's stressful, huh?
Then finally, they decided to go to WAEC, only to realize that one is here, one is here. So the school also, if Holy Child is going to pick, they can't pick one. They need two, like a master list and another list. If St. Joseph's is going to pick, they're going to, And so that was like an experience that helped me to sort of grow up a little bit, even though I was kind of younger, because then there's a lot of emotions at play. And so I need to find a way to sort of calm myself down and be positive. But here's the thing. I told myself that I wanted to be in Cape Coast for my secondary school. It's either one of these three girls' schools. I wanted to be in a girls' school. Either Wesley Girls, Holy Child, or Infants One Girls. And then I ended up in Infants One Girls.
I see.
So that has been, but in school, I think I was a quiet person. I'm quiet. I'm introverted, but I can be extroverted depending on the situation. And now sales has made me more, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm quiet. And like some of my colleagues are like, you, because I'm the energy and the bring it on kind of person. I want the room to be lightened up for a positive reason, for a perspective that is more engaging, more fun, and then more educating. So I've got that part, but I love my space, right? So in secondary school, I didn't have many friends. I didn't do a lot of outing, like, 1 minute they are in Cape Coast, one club or another, sporting. I never really did that. Why I didn't do that? It wasn't that I didn't have interest in all those things, but it just didn't move me. However, you'd be amazed that I thought I was just a quiet person. I was assertive and confident. If I have to pick up a conversation, I can in class, whatever it is, but I was selective of friends. It wasn't even deliberate, but it just came naturally by the way I carried myself. I tried to take good care of myself, sort of, so I don't land in trouble, that kind of thing. Yeah, but I was still very warm. I'll smile at everybody. And then I'm there one time. It's time for to elect leaders for the school. And my name comes up as you're going for girls prefect. I'm like, what? Like, who knows me? That kind of thing. But then it also made me know that, okay, a lot of people saw something, they saw something good in me to like ask me to go for like a head girl position there. Because I was thinking, as much as I was quiet, it's not all the time I had my belt on. Like you'd see my belt sagging when I'm in like Form 2 or 3. So I didn't see myself to be a typical prim and proper secondary school girl that has to be like a head girl. But it also confirmed who I really was, because then my values and just my personality it was able to speak. But
did you know back then what you wanted to do when you grew up?
It's funny. So I think when I was in secondary school, right, because my grades were good, family, even as a child, my family, oh, your grades are so good, you're going to be a doctor, that thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I finally, before secondary school, I think I was thinking about arts, something a lot more English and media. And then I got to secondary school, I'm doing science. Actually, I did agric science, chemistry, physics, elective maths. My other elective wasn't proper elective. It wasn't biology. I think it was agric or something. And so it was more like you're doing science to broaden your horizon, to broaden your mind, so you can fit in other places. But as at SS1, 2, I figured, no, I should have done arts. But let me just do it so that university, I can do something arts related. But then I was also close to someone who was an HR practitioner. I think in secondary school, he had just completed school and he was doing his national service. And so because he was practicing HR and I was used to having the HR bit around me, I developed love for HR because I knew, aside all this, I know I'm a people person. I love people naturally. I like to be warm. I like people to be okay. I like people to be sound, I can waive your worries, and then for you to be okay, I can be there for you, that kind of thing. Yes. So I thought I was a people person. So HR, why not? So I studied HR.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you came out with a degree in HR.
Yes.
Right. And then obviously you are a career woman with, over a decade of experience in sales and marketing. As a career woman and speaking to other women who may be graduating, maybe early in their careers, what are some of the sacrifices that come with that, and how do you kind of prioritize or decide if you're going to more so pursue career or more so pursue family?
That's a good and a deep one, right? So typically in our part of the world, as a young lady, you're meant to have education. After education, you have to settle down, and all that comes up. Now, a lot of young people have that as a dream, which is a good thing. It's great. It's great to start family early and all that. But I think that you can combine career and family life. It won't be easy. There would be sacrifices in there, right? So then if you're a family person, you may not be able to be there for your kids every time, but you need to be deliberate to make time for important events and milestones. But you would have to, at some point, waive maybe some school work, depending on what it is. You may not be there fully, but I believe in finding ways to catch up with people we love, right? It could be like a quick video call in between meetings, like a quick checkup. They may not have you like 100%, but you make time in a way that you plan it and you be there. For me as a career person, the sacrifices I make, I've had moments where I don't close early at all. I've had weekends I was a sales manager then. I've had weekends that I'm not home, I'm not resting, but we're going for activations and I'm there with my guys from start to finish because I'm trying to show them leadership by being present. I'm working in the office, then we're doing like app forms, and I can't close at 5, I can't close at 6, I can't close at 7 for some days. There are some days I can't even close at 8 and 9. But what did it really do to me? I noticed that I became so much better. I believe that you cannot be great in your profession or at anything if you do what everybody does. So you have to go the extra mile. Like that's the kind of sacrifice. Like everybody's doing like 100%. You need to do like 150, 200%. That's the only way you can be noticed even more, because then it's like everyone is doing the same thing. It's what can be that thing that is striking about you that is like a differentiator. And sometimes in going the extra mile and doing the normal things, you may not even plan it. That's when it really happens. So I learned that at a very early age when I started my career, where we were given a task. After the task, we came back and my boss then said, "You're hardworking." And at the back of my mind, I'm like, what did I even do?
Okay.
But when I became a manager, I got to understand, because they're like, go prospect, right? Everybody goes and they come back with 5, 3, 10, 5, and yours is over 20. You get that? So it means you didn't just, because they said prospect and because they asked you to, maybe you just went, did anything at all, and then you came back. And then another form of sacrifice, when I had to get my MBA, listen, I miss family events, friends events, and even till dates. It's not all the events that I can attend, but I'm hoping that my loved ones and family and friends will understand. So occasionally I'll do some pop-ins. If it's something that I can just pop in there and say hello and go for another program, or even go to school, because when I was in school, I was doing like weekend school. That like there are moments you have to try and learn when there's so much work pressure, but you still have to. So those are some of the sacrifices, but I believe that you can combine both. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, this is very, very interesting, because it's something that we actually relate, but with you, one thing that so far I have found very assertive is the fact that it looked like you were just naturally calm. It looked like you knew what you were about like way younger, which I don't know how that is possible. I really don't know how that is possible. I don't know if it's the training, home wise, or it's just that you intentionally decided. But of course, there's something that you said, which is key, the God factor. Being able to be young like that and get exposed and allow yourself to really allow God into, definitely affected and did something. But for somebody as sound, for somebody who just knew what she is about, tell us like 3 accomplishments, especially when it comes to your career, what you have achieved. Like 3 accomplishments that that for you it's mind-blowing, and tell us how it even happened.
Very interesting. So when I get people ask me about, don't get it twisted. As much as you would love what you do, there are times you would question why you're doing what you're doing.
Interesting.
Yes.
Very.
Elaborate. Okay, let's hear about that.
So I even tell people that, I've had conversations with some CEO friends, and usually they say at the top it's a bit lonely. And sometimes you think that people have all the position and the prestige, but at every point they are questioning and they are asking what next, even though I love it.
Okay.
So for me, I would say that one of the things that kept me in sales and insurance was the impacts and the lives I was touching. Like I get people who know nothing about sales, who are not confident, join my team, join the business, and you see the transformation. It's amazing. Like people that didn't have money to feed 3 square meals, to talk of rent, they are living in homes that about 5 or 6 or even 7 people, if I'm not exaggerating, are sharing a room. And they can rent their own apartment, have some savings.
Okay.
You get that?
Right.
Those are some of the things that really held me to not really overthink sales, because at a point I'm like, okay, what next? At every point I'm asking myself, what next? And then there were moments where I felt, all these people I'm helping to get better, they're taking it to their homes, really. It's not coming to me. And it's okay for me to have that thought, but I don't need to feed on that thought, because it's not a positive one.
Very true.
At the end of the day, it comes back to me in a very good way. I get, sometimes you might think there's nothing in for you, but you'll be amazed when you least expect it. It comes back to you in many beautiful ways. And I've seen so many of them.
Wow.
For me, my accomplishments, I'll group it into 3. Professionally, I would say that I've trained over 900 people in sales and insurance. Like, these financial consultants pass through our hands daily.
So by the end of the year, it'll be 1,000.
Yes, it's actually over 1,000, really? Yeah.
Wow.
Because
1,000
then
in a year?
we keep recruiting. No, since I started.
Okay.
Yeah, so we keep recruiting, and I say that there are some that have international exposure due to my guidance, due to directing them. So aside that, personally, I'd say I've been able to have like an e-commerce business which is thriving. I think that's like one of my achievements. And then I love humanitarian stuff. I love to make people smile, and so like a charity where every year I find a way to touch people's hearts. It might not be huge, but it's been rewarding and satisfying for me when I started it. It started when I was young, that after wearing some clothes, you take it to the orphanage. Initially I used to give it to my family, cousins, but at a point I decided to take it. So for me, I think that I would look at it from 3 phases: professionally, socially, and then personally.
Fantastic.
Again, one clear thing I hope people are learning is how generally confident and how you just know what you're about. I don't know I want to I want to understand. Is it something that you built naturally, or is something that you prayed for, or how did you get it, or it's just a gift you just have?
So I think that my personality plays a role, and my upbringing also, right? My mom is not the impulsive mother. She likes to listen to you on what you want, and she sort of believes in you to take decisions and make sure you're doing the right thing.
Okay.
At the end of the day, she has a way of cautioning you based on her fears, right? Let me tell you an interesting thing. So after my first job at Gibbs, I did a 3 months job in a media institution then.
Okay.
And one morning, my mom comes to sit by my bed with a face, and she was like, the media space, I hear there's a lot of things that happens there. You need to be careful. The woman was afraid, she wasn't sure. She felt, can my daughter survive the space? Okay. Because then she's looking at how well you can preserve yourself, take care of yourself and your sanity, and you'll be exposed to so many things. And she wasn't even sure. And I started laughing, and I said, you know what, don't worry.
Wow. Even as at that time, you just knew.
So she was cautioning me ahead of time. But also the God factor has always been what I say, that I'm one of the few women that God has been good to, that he finds ways of taking care of.
Wow.
So the fact that I can take care of myself as a woman and confidently say that I'm not doing what every woman does is not because I'm strong mentally or physically. Okay. But it's because I'm enjoying some grace from God, and I lean onto my values, right?
Oh, okay.
My grandma had ways of imbibing in me, like you're speaking to her. At a very young age, my grandma would tell me, your body is the temple of God. So I can't just let anybody at all touch me, right? Okay. Anyone tries to touch me.
No, wow. Wow.
And that's self-respect for who I am. I don't want to sound holy. I'm no saint, but I think that is God's grace, and I don't judge people, right? I don't judge people.
Now, so it let me just flow in line with this. It's clear that naturally you have a consistent pattern of how you do things, and you're very stuck to, certain values, And one clear thing that I know about the sales world is how a lot of people just keep running away from that job. It's something where a lot of people just keep running away from that sales arena. For you, what compelled you to enter into sales and marketing?
Interesting. One of the things that kept my interest, the number one thing was meeting people. I loved interacting with people. I loved having conversations with people. And so I enjoyed the fact that every day I go to work and I'm in one office and I'm speaking to this HR, and I'm in one office and I'm speaking to this lawyer, and I'm in one office and I'm speaking to this doctor. I glean in from their wisdom, right?
Yep. Can you repeat that again? Nah, because
that's what we're doing here, right? That's what we're doing here. I'm learning from your wisdom. I learn from Kweku. We learn from our guests.
Exactly.
And then we bring this to the audience so that everybody can learn from it.
No, but I never...
And I think that's a very...
It's something where from the sales, I never thought... I mean, sales, it's always about the commission. It's always about the fact that you're making money. But
yes.
Yeah.
That's a very different perspective. Yes. That's a powerful perspective. It makes you have a different target in mind. Even your conversation with the people must be different.
Of course. And it helped me to always relate with every caliber of person. Because then you're picking here. So you're speaking, and you're not speaking from a very naive perspective. So there's always something to contribute. Now, it always will lead you to getting great commission, because the more you speak to people, the higher the level of persons you engage gets.
Okay. Because what I would ask is, it's how do you end up closing the deal?
Have conversations. Listen, sales is about, if you have 30 minutes to sell,
Okay.
Use 25 minutes for conversations.
Wow.
5 minutes will close the deal.
No, you need to. Could you, are you sharing this? Like, because we're all about, I mean, you have about 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Sure.
She's saying that you need to actually use most of it to just have conversations.
Listen to the people.
Let's understand the psychological.
Ask them questions. Like, let them feel that you want to really know them. And you need to do it genuinely, really. Because I think that everyone has something special. Like, you need to move knowing and thinking that I'm going to get something from people, not tangible, but intangible things.
What about if the person just gives you about 2 minutes or 1 minute?
That's a good one. You would have to come back. It depends. There are people who also do not have time for these conversations.
Exactly.
So you go straight. You need to know your product, right?
Okay.
At the end of the day, you're not speaking the product like I'm speaking that this book, buy this book is very good and all that. Growth hacker marketing.
Okay.
How can I sell this to you?
Okay.
I need to put your life in there. Mr. DJ Mfi, currently where you are, you're doing extremely well. But you can do even above by getting into some level where you interact with people that are a little more than you.
Okay.
And a little more than where you are now.
Okay.
With this growth marketing, it takes people from where they are currently to a different level.
Okay.
So you get to interact, you get to benefit from people by using this.
Okay. Okay.
So you're not just selling like the book, but you're selling the book, putting his life in it and what he stands to gain. Okay. So once you're selling it, he sort of pictures it.
Building a house in Ghana can be a real hassle, from navigating the permits and licenses to the struggle of buying land and the difficulty of finding a trustworthy contractor. The process can be so tough that many give up even after wasting piles of cash. That's why Complete Housing is stepping up. Instead of you trying to be an architect, an engineer, a contractor, and a project manager with little to no experience, you can simply hire our team to handle everything for you. We offer a full range of services, including architectural design, structural engineering, full-scope construction, land purchase consulting, and even property management for your investment properties. We even have a number of pre-designed models that start for as low as $15,000 to make things even easier for you. One of the most attractive aspects of Complete Housing is our commitment to affordability. We work closely with our clients to develop homes that suit their budgets without compromising on quality, using our multi-layered wall rather than relying on the typical concrete construction that dominates the market, translates into an average cost savings of 50%. Not only does our method cut costs, but it cuts construction time down to less than 90 days for an entire home. We've been endorsed by the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, and our affordable building method even caught the attention of the UN Habitat Program, who invited us to provide them a presentation of our methodology. For anyone considering building a home in Ghana, Complete Housing provides a reliable partner. We take care of the hard work so you can focus on your dreams and aspirations. So why wait? Whether you've been away for years or just recently started thinking about investing in property in Ghana, Complete Housing is there to help you every step of the way. Check out our website at complete.house to learn more and sign up today.
Is it an essential skill for every single person to know how to sell?
I would say absolutely. The thing about sales is that I always tell people, one way or the other, we sell ourselves and we don't even know. You're working in an office, you need to pitch an idea to your boss. Your colleagues you need to get your colleagues buy-in. There are so many ways we sell ourselves unknowingly. And so having a sales background would usually give you leverage. Now, sales doesn't just teach you selling and getting money. Mm-hmm. I say that there are a lot of intangible things sales will teach you. Sales will teach you to be patient. It will humble you.
True.
Big time. Big time.
Because
Yeah.
the go and come, corner bra in chi.
Yeah.
It will humble you.
Very true.
Now, imagine an IT person having a sales background
Right.
and you have your IT firm. You're going to pitch for a deal. Imagine a contractor having a sales background.
Yeah.
Going to pitch for a contract. Imagine a doctor establishing a hospital and having a sales background. So that the marketing and sales bit will be something you would have, and that will give you an upper hand over others. So anybody doing sales is more good than bad, because then it gives you an advantage. Listen, sales will make you confident. Some people would say, I'm a bit shy. I don't like to talk in front of people. Do sales and see.
Because you said you're an introvert.
Yes.
Which is interesting because I think most people assume that somebody in sales is a natural extrovert, somebody who's always talking,
Not at
outgoing.
all.
So to the introverts out there, how did you break out of that shell? Is sales what helped you break out of that shell, or was it something else?
So as much as I was introverted, I loved conversations actually.
Okay.
Now, as much as people are introverted, they can still love sales by having a focus on what they want while they try to do sales. So if I'm introverted and I want to come out of my shells, one thing about sales is the more people you speak to, the better you become and the more confident you become.
Right. Law of averages naturally go.
So if I'm doing sales and every day I speak to just 2 people, compared to someone who is speaking to about 10 and 20 people, look, striking there.
Right.
Okay.
It's about training.
Okay.
Yeah.
And practicing sort of.
Practice. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've seen very quiet, introverted people do extremely well than people who are extroverted.
Okay.
Because then you put in a bit of work, right? If you have like a plan, there's a process. I always say that hard work would always beat talent. And that's where the extroverts may not win. But then the introvert knows that I'm not good with people. So what can I do to become better at speaking to people?
Amen.
So they sort of focus, plan, and put in the work.
Yeah.
But the one who is extroverted thinks, I've got it.
Exactly.
And sometimes they mess up. Sales loves focus. And then introverted people can really be focused.
So indirectly, are you saying the best people to be sales or to succeed extremely with sales are introverted people?
So if you look at it, it's tilted towards extroverted people.
Okay.
However, because they are people persons, right?
Okay.
They love conversations. Oh, how you doing? Hug you, kiss you, and then that's it. They go home. That's it, really.
Okay.
And the person at the receiving end feels the warmth, feels like, oh, this person is so nice and kind.
Okay.
As compared to an introverted person that is trying to study you and study the environment and come across as not nice, a bit rude.
Okay.
So it favors the extroverts. However, if the introverted person puts in a lot of work than the extroverted person, the introverted person wins.
Could you, I mean, you do realize that, especially from the fact that, let's say from an entrepreneurial background, and you have certain type of employees that you want to employ. There are times where naturally you've met talented people, but you realize their work ethic is quite minimal. There. Exactly. Yeah. But you meet an introverted person and you recognize that the work ethic is much more larger. From what she's saying, it totally makes me understand why employers would actually choose that type of employees, especially people who really like to put in the work. So the thing is, you can be very talented, but if you're really not ready to really put in a lot of work, eventually you lose out.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Talent does give you the initial advantage, but if you let it go to your head,
which happens,
you allow the people to who were behind you in the race to go in front of you in the race because they kept working harder than. So I think that's very interesting, because you are where you are starting as an introvert, not starting as an extrovert. So I think that's very interesting. Now, the next question I wanted to get into, there's often a debate in business strategy about action versus planning versus strategizing. When it comes to sales and marketing, how do you strike a balance between the analysis and planning versus the, hey, let's go out and take action?
So that's a very good question. When it comes to planning and strategy and action, I would say that you always have to plan, strategize, and then you can kill it in the action.
Can you repeat that again?
You always have to plan and strategize, and you kill it with the action.
Okay.
So the thing about sales is that it's important, aside everything, having the sales flair, having the personality, knowing how to sell. You need to know your market, right?
Okay.
You cannot sell to everybody.
Yes.
Okay. Very true.
So how do I know my market if I don't plan and strategize?
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Now you can start selling to everybody, but if you start selling to everybody, you notice that for some people it doesn't work well for you.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
There are salespeople that sell to specific professionals. You know, and where I work, there are some people that do like pay points, people that work in government payrolls.
Okay.
It works well for them.
Okay.
So in planning, that's where you know the market, your value proposition. You need to, aside that, know every caliber of persons that are associated with the market you're selling.
Wow.
And in doing that, sometimes you need analysis. You need to even do data analysis
Right.
based on what's happening, based on the country, based on the industry, based on competitive analysis.
Right.
You need to do that.
And
And all these, you can't just jump and sell. The results you get, I say that when people plan, they can actually plan and get greater results than people who don't plan and they just start going. Except for the fact that the person who starts going realizes, because I believe in practice a lot in sales. Like as a salesperson, you need to practice. That's where you learn. That's like the field is your learning ground, and that's where you build capacity and skills. You don't build skills in the classroom.
right. Right.
And then you can gain knowledge in the classroom, but the actual place you get the skill and build capacity is on the field, is by interacting with people. So you can just start in action and you notice that there'll be loads of hurdles and objections. However, you can actually plan first. How can a salesperson not have a message for pitching? How can a marketing person not have a marketing message? Then how are you speaking?
Okay. Okay.
You're just speaking without knowing where and how to touch, because then you need to be able to get into the emotions of people. You need to be able to touch their needs, you know, that kind of thing. And all these come with planning and strategizing.
Like I think people need to listen to this part, you know, carefully, because most of the times we assume sales is like, you know,
Hustle and bustle.
Exactly. It's like, I just know how to sell, man. Like, I know how to just go about it. I'm a hustler. A lot of people actually associate sales with hustling. You know what I'm saying? So it's such a way that, you know, I have it, I can talk. I mean, I have the ability to convince. They use the word convince, but people need to understand the level of psychological calculations involved.
Yeah.
Like this is where, you know, to be on top of this game, you need to have an understanding. You need to learn. You need to go deep. You need to be business oriented. And most importantly, you need to be educated enough.
Fast.
You know, and that's the thing where people should not play with education when it comes to that. This is really amazing.
Or like your product, right? So,
Know your product very well.
so if I have like an idea I want to pitch, like I've created some sort of a solar system and I want to go sell it. I need to be able to know that in and out and be able to have a message that can speak to what I have, such that when I'm speaking to people, it's easier for them to be able to
relate. This comes back to the industry you are in. All right. You are with, you know, you're in the insurance world. Do you think insurance sales has an ability to curb the unemployment?
Certainly. I love this question. I love this question because
there's a lot of unemployment and people are running away from this sales job. And I mean, what do you think?
Listen, I work with Prudential Life Insurance Ghana, and we are a business that transforms lives, right? We've transformed degree holders' lives, people who just came out of school and wanted a job, and they got more than a job, right?
Okay.
They got education and knowledge. They got good income. They got travel opportunities. We've got people in my business that travel. Some people are just 3 years and they've already done about 6 to 7 countries.
Oh, okay.
Just being associated with us. And this is by dint of hard work.
Wow.
But it's not something you cannot do. Listen, people get into sales because they want to make money, right? Which is good. But depending on what sales you're doing and what business or industry you're in, remember your reason for being in sales. Listen, the number one reason you should go into sales is that you want to make money, because we all like money. However, beyond the money, there should be something that attracts you to sales. That thing would help surmount every hurdles that come with selling.
Okay. All right.
So we've got a lot of insurance companies, but I'll speak for mine because Prudential Life has a unique career path. I started selling with my degree about 11 years ago with my degree.
Okay.
That was then. How many people will sell with degrees?
Sure. I mean,
currently we've been able to build an agency where we are recruiting like degree holders and MBA holders. But I was selling with my degree. And at that time, it would have been so easy. In fact, there were so many times I wanted to give up on sales. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Because then I was trying to measure it, right? I thought I could do well in other industries. So why
exactly
all this running about and all this budget, all this, you know, I don't think I should. Maybe I should just find something stable and all. Everyone wants to be in the office. Everyone wants to be in a business or a field that is stable for them without moving about. So usually they say that sales, you move about, you work in the sun. Sales people don't work in the sun. If you're working with my institution, you're going based on appointments, right? We will enter rooms you may not be able to enter. So people would usually cling to banking and other. It's not bad. But currently, do you know how much some of the banks are paying people as entry level?
How much?
How much some of the tellers are getting? Maybe you can find out.
No, you can tell us.
Here we're playing.
Here
we say
talk
that
numbers.
we talk
No,
numbers.
see,
I mean, we're very
people are still paid 1,500,
which is not
even 700.
Oh, wow.
In Accra.
Yes,
You can't
banks.
go in Accra with that.
And you see, so
Across too
currently
expensive.
in this economy, one of the jobs you would need is what? A sales job where you're given like a paycheck, an empty one, to just sign your own paycheck, because it's commission. What you bring in is what you get.
Oh, wow.
So I can say that, okay, I would want to get this gadget. I would want to rent a house. How much do I need? What amount of business do I need to bring to get this amount of money?
Okay.
As compared to a salaried worker, it's after a year. Even after that, you may not be able to get an increment that is substantive. Some are doing less than 10.
So do you feel like the sales job has an ability to build you to become an entrepreneur?
Certainly. If you survive sales, you can survive every job.
You don't have a business if you don't have sales.
Very true. Very, very true. Very, very true. Now, sales and marketing often require a certain cultural understanding. See, when considering the Ghanaian culture, what are some of the, the things that are quite effective, especially, and this naturally, this question is more targeted towards people who do not live in Ghana, and probably have a business here and they're trying to find ways in which to enter into the market, What are some of the effective ways, especially when it comes to ways in which they can penetrate and make the deal happen?
Okay. So, when it comes to sales and marketing, there's been a lot of interesting perspectives. People say sales and marketing, and a lot of the brands and communication guys say, you know what, guys, sales is certainly not marketing. Of course, sales is different from marketing. While sales is targeting the source, getting the product or the idea to the consumer or the market, marketing is targeting the source or the company, getting the product or the product to the market via brand awareness and marketing campaigns.
Okay.
So it's like the marketing bit is talking about the product, sensitizing people, and the sales bit is getting to the consumers or getting to the market and bringing in the business and bringing in the money. Right. However, a salesperson can do marketing when they do not get result.
Right.
Okay.
So I speak to you, you don't buy. So there was no transaction, no business, right?
Okay.
What did I do? I spoke to you about the product, about the brand.
Very true.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to sales and marketing, sales cannot do without marketing.
Okay.
Because through marketing, you get a lot of market, so a lot of people get into to know about the product.
Right.
But marketing can also do way better with sales and cannot function properly without sales, because the sales team can let you know the consumer behavior, because they deal with the consumer
Much more.
Yeah.
on personal level, and that would help you with your campaign and your messaging.
Right.
When it comes to sales and marketing in Ghana, I think that as a country, we've really we've done well. There's been a lot of good things and transformative things, traditional and social media. Social media is buzzing now. Like now we're doing a podcast, right? We're doing a video.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of companies, business owners fail to plan and budget for marketing and sales.
Right.
Okay.
And that's something people should stop. Like you need to invest.
There's a lot of Ghanaian companies.
You need to like invest in your marketing and your sales.
Okay.
Like you get that. So people have businesses, and if it's on Instagram, like you need to do an ad to reach a wider audience who knows you outside your market, outside your community, outside your enclave. You get that. And so a lot of business owners, whether abroad and want to penetrate Ghana, now we have social media being so powerful, and traditional media still count, right? See what some of the bloggers do. I've gone to restaurants because I've seen a blogger blog it.
True. Okay.
Right.
Which in a way I felt like the diasporans are the ones that actually introduced that approach of marketing much more, especially after the year of return. There was something that most Ghanaian companies were not doing.
Right.
Really?
We're not doing that.
I see.
People blog and take a video, vlog it. Exactly. Was
influencer marketing is bigger than you can imagine. And also what people should stop is not having a message. Like you need to have like a message. Assuming you need to pitch a deal. Like he was asking, how about someone gives you 2 minutes?
Yeah. Okay.
At every point, you should be able to have things to say. So for people who are in sales, there are so many ways of selling your brand, right? You're doing solution selling, value-based selling, need-based selling.
Okay.
And there's even spin, right?
Okay.
So where you're having like 5 or 10 minutes conversation, but you should have a message, what you want to carry across.
Okay.
It's one thing that people should.
Wow.
And the product. Nothing beats.
A good product.
It does the job.
Okay.
In our last episode, we talked about intrapreneurs versus entrepreneurs, because there's a controversy brewing online. I think over the last 7 or 8 years, there's been a lot of content really pushing entrepreneurship, and you've got to be your own boss. But we talked about the pros and cons of both, right? I would say that you've been on both sides. In your opinion, do you see yourself becoming a complete entrepreneur, or do you want to balance both, or do you think that it's better to be an intrapreneur? And maybe somebody starting from where you started, what path would you advise them to take, considering these two options?
So, I believe that it's possible to pursue corporate and still be able to do your own thing.
Okay.
However, it's said that you can't serve two masters because where your focus goes, that's where your energy and focus goes. Where your focus goes, that's where your energy also goes.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Now, depending on what it is, I believe that you can do corporate and still be able to do something. But, for example, someone who is into sales and marketing, you're retiring as a sales and marketing person. What are you retiring for? Because currently, there are lots of opportunities you can create with your background. You can have a marketing and sales agency.
Okay.
Where you're either marketing people's product.
Okay.
Where you're training people on sales and marketing.
Okay.
Where you get that.
Okay.
And sometimes you can, depend on your role or your job, you can actually have a job and do gigs.
Okay.
Whether it's weekend gig.
Okay.
And for me, I'm so much into, I love technology. I love social media stuff because I think that they are very important tools that we can use.
Okay.
What can you do with that?
Okay.
Now, when it comes to entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship, when it comes to entrepreneurship, I usually say that it's a form of process improvement. That's where innovation comes in. And now a lot of industries and companies have embraced innovation.
Okay.
Now it says that I have this, right? I have this product, but how can I refine it considering the market, considering the trends, considering the generations to still meet standards and still find it appealing.
Okay.
So an entrepreneur that does not have an entrepreneurial spirit, your ability to look at your product, modify it, innovate. And innovation is not really about bringing in something new. It can be the same thing, but finding a way to look at it and adjust, right? Apple does very well. Even Samsung. Remember what happened to Nokia?
Okay.
The CEO said, we tried all we can. I mean, it's like you can't blame me for failing.
Okay. All right.
But the trends were changing.
Okay.
And I don't know how their strategy and innovation team
They
were.
refused to.
Okay.
You get that?
Yeah, they refused to adapt.
So the trends were really changing. And so you can actually have like a business, but you need to be keen on, I attribute intrapreneurship or intrapreneur to innovation and process improvement. And it's actually great whether you're doing your own business or you're in an institution. And people that have that skill in this season can really go far. Because companies want to evolve, they want something, and because that is also because the customer's journey has changed drastically. First, they would listen to you, but now they'll tell you what they want. They research the product. You get that. So you need to be really entrepreneurial to be entrepreneur. Yeah.
Fantastic. So work somewhere where you get the tutelage of somewhere like yourself, learn the processes, the procedures, the strategies, and then when you've trained from inside of a good organization, you branch out on your own and maybe try to do your own thing.
Sure.